Hey, Mr. Parka here to do an update, a DVD, Blu-ray, and VHS update. Most of the stuff in here is, horror movies or cult or exploitation related. So I'm going to call it a horror update, I guess. Even though I've always called it that. But let's get right into VHSs. We have two Massacre video releases. Still waiting on Mondo Vision VHS. But is Treasure of the Ninja. Love Massacre video, and they are about to blow up very shortly with a bunch of new releases coming out, including The Cemetery, The Nostril Picker, and among others. What is it? I don't want to give too much away. I don't know if that one's been announced, but Crossbearer. Oops. But this is Adam Elbrant's movie, who has two more movies coming out, Hunters and The Sadist. So, and The Cemetery for Massacre Video, which is also a really cool film. So, that's the Crossbearer VHS. And we have from Horror Boobs Survive, which is made by, I believe he was 15 when he directed this movie. And he is Liam Maka. I'm not going to be able to pronounce his name correctly, but his father directed the movie Super, not to be confused with James Gunn's Super, but The Super, which is about a crooked super of a hotel or apartment complex. He's really creepy. Pretty cool movie, and this is his son's directorial debut, a virus type horror zombie thing. It's alright. We're checking out to see a first-time director. And then we have Her Name is Torment by Dustin Mills. He gave me this VHS, which is really awesome. It's from Vulture Video. This has Allison Egan, Brandon Salco. It's a really cool movie. If you guys haven't checked it out, Dustin's a good friend of mine, and he makes pretty damn cool movies. This was given to me by my friend Josh Willard. He sent something, but he threw this in just for the hell of it. I actually have this DVD. I don't know if I've ever seen this movie, but it looks up my alley, horror anthology. It's probably a movie I saw on TV and just completely forgot about, but it is Campfire Tales. And let's get into the Blu-ray releases. Let's start off with the Scream Factory, Shout Factory style here. These are actually all Scream Factories this time around, but we have Motel Hell. Classic horror film. Haven't seen it in a long time, so I bought the Blu-ray and I think I'd watch it. Still a good movie, still fun. Farmer Vincent is an awesome character, and he's actually one of the most likable. He's really the only likable character in the entire film, which is hilarious because he's a mass murderer. But yeah, I mean, the characters are likable, but he's the most genuinely good person in the movie, and he's also a horrible person at the same time. But yeah, Motel Hell, really fun movie. Pumpkinhead, which I hadn't seen in probably about 7-8 years, and I put this in, and man, they did a great job restoring it. And the great thing about Pumpkinhead is it is a horror film that you have to pay attention to. You do have to pay attention to the story and the folklore and the plot and stuff like that, and it's a really good payoff. The atmosphere is great, the scenery is great, the locations are great, the monster's great, the special effects I love. You know what? I've seen forums on Internet Movie Database. I can't even go there anymore and read forums because you just get so irritated, and it's not worth replying to some of the things that are said. But people were hating on this movie, and I was like, are you guys insane? This movie's awesome. Pumpkinhead's a classic, and not just because it's not just awesome because it was a classic or it's old. It's just a very entertaining, well-made horror film that has a good amount of folklore, and every scene in the movie has so much atmosphere to it. And there was even people commenting, defending the movie, like, it's a classic. Sorry that the special effects aren't good or were outdated. It's like, are you insane? That monster is freaking amazing. Even by today's standards, it's better than 95% of monster effects I see. It's actually probably the coolest looking monster I've ever seen in a horror film. I don't know if I'm going too far, but he's the one that always stuck with me. The VHS cover of Pumpkinhead stuck with my childhood forever. He's just standing on behind the tree and really creepy. I wish the artwork, this artwork's great and awesome, but I wish the reverse artwork was the old VHS. I had a lot of fondness of that VHS, lots of memories, and I wish the poster was that, or I'd have it hanging on my freaking wall. But fan of Pumpkinhead, enjoy it quite a bit. Ginger Snaps, which I haven't got a chance to rewatch. This is always a pretty solid werewolf film. I like how they treat it like an STD in the film. I remember that. And I always like that movie. It's a good, solid movie. People go bananas over it. I think that it may be a tad overrated, but I do remember it's a very good movie. And they have Phantom of Paradise, which I've never seen. So I got it. It's a Brian De Palma movie, and I watched it, and it reminded me of, it was like Faust, Phantom of the Opera, Rock and Rule, and I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun, and Rocky Horror Picture Show all in one. I mean, I mean, they were made around the same time, Rock and Roll, but I kind of see that Mock is kind of like the character in this movie searching for the ultimate rock thing. That must have been around that time, really popular rock music and things like that. Yeah, but this is a cool movie, very different, very unique, even though it does have inspirations from other films. It's a very unique, different film, and I think that everybody should at least watch it once, no matter how they feel about it. I personally enjoyed it. Then we have Legend of Hell House, which I had never seen, believe it or not. But, you know, I figured I was feeling like in the mood for this, and I love these. I always wait when I see Scream Factory releasing something to rewatch it, because either I have the movie already, or I've seen the movie a bunch of times, and I haven't watched it in like 5 to 10 years. So when Scream Factory, I was like, oh, I'm going to wait to rewatch that movie until I get their release, because I'm sure it's going to be awesome. And this one I had never seen. I had it sitting around the house for years, an old MGM, I believe, midnight movie release. And when I got this Blu-ray, I was like, oh, let's give it a shot. And I gave it a spin, and the movie has great atmosphere. It is a very slow burn horror film, but it kind of surprised me with all the ghost hunter and paranormal scientist and activity in the movie. As like, you know, I forgot that was an old like genre of film, that they're actually kind of like approaching ghosts as a scientific platform, like, or it's a scientific thing. It's kind of weird to me. There's a lot of movies like that now. I know Poltergeist had that idea too, with the paranormal investigators and things like that, and you know, Ghostbusters, of course, kind of like that. But it's just weird that Legend of Hull House, I believe this was made in 72, 1973. I mean, I imagine there's tons of movies before it, but this is the one that I think really kind of probably gets stole from all the time. But I imagine there'll be comments below schooling me which movie originally had the paranormal investigators and things like that. But yeah, I enjoyed it. It's a good film. It is a little slow, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's got a lot of atmosphere. I mean, it's not, I didn't think it was the best movie I've ever seen, but I enjoyed it. I appreciated what it was, and Roddy McDowall's in it. Can't go wrong with Roddy McDowall. Love him in Fright Night, love him in Class of 1984. You know, he's in a bunch of things. Then we have Without Warning, which is a movie I had a German release of, I believe, and a movie I'd heard a lot about just because, you know, it's a precursor to Predator. It actually has the guy who played the Predator, Kevin Peter Hall, as the alien in this movie, and it has a bunch of other people into it: Cameron Mitchell, Martin Landau, Jack Palance, other people, just these guys, Ralph Meeker, I believe Ralph Meeker's in it, just these a bunch of actors that were A-listers at one point that kind of had fallen on their luck and were in a lot of B movies, and you know, they always do at least an interesting performance, a good performance, and sometimes, you know, they phone in their performances, but they still seem like they have a lot of fun, and it's just always an honor to see a bunch of unique actors like that, or character actors or A-listers turn to horror movies, or turn to B movies in a movie like that. It's always fun, it's always unique and different, and this movie's pretty cool. I think the special effects are great. I think it is too slow for what it is. You know, maybe just modern day film and everything, seeing so many new movies has really just destroyed my appreciation for a nice slow burn, but I don't think a movie about an alien invading Earth to collect trophies and things like that, it should be a slow burn. I think it is a bit too slow. I think it starts off with a great kill and then it leaves you wanting a lot more, and then the end pays off. I think watching Jack Palance is a lot of fun in the movie. Martin Landau, but I do like the movie. I enjoyed it. It's a good movie. It's awesome. It's a good release as well, you know. Finally glad to have it. Finally glad to see it in this format. And it kind of is funny that Jack Palance and Martin Landau would go on later to be in Alone in the Dark, the slasher film, together, which they also turn in really great performances, which I also a fan of that movie, strictly probably because of those two performances. Oh, and the guy who plays the 6'7" pedophile in that movie is also immaculate. Not to mention Donald Pleasance. I'm talking about Alone in the Dark. I'm not even showing it, but love that movie. And then we have Scanners here, which Josh Willard is a good friend of mine, and he sent this to me because he got an extra copy, which is awesome. I haven't had a chance to watch it. I've always been a fan of Scanners. The Scanners Blu-ray from Criterion by David Cronenberg. Scanners is a great film. He sent it to me because he got a replacement because there was like a chip or something in the case, and he complained, so they sent him a new one. But I'm fine with that. I mean, I have the movie on a bunch of different formats. Well, a couple formats, I believe, and well, a couple DVDs, I should say. But yeah, I mean, I'm always happy to update Scanners, which is a great David Cronenberg movie and has one of my all-time favorite actors in it, Michael Ironside, and one of Cronenberg's best, my personal favorite being The Brood. But we have Seizure, which is an Oliver Stone movie, early one. I have never seen this. This is from Scorpion. I really am digging what Scorpion's doing. I think Scorpion's one of the best companies out there, of course, but maybe the most underappreciated best company, if that makes any sense. But I have not seen this movie. I've always wondered about this movie. So I picked it up. Early Oliver Stone. Borgman, which looks like a really strange art style horror film. Have not seen it. That back of the cover, though, doesn't that look like when he's looking up at her like that? Isn't that reminiscent of Hider in the House or something like that? Or what was it? The Gothic, the cover to Gothic, which I have not watched, but I believe it's a Ken Russell. I might be mistaken. I remember the cover art of Gothic very well, though. But that's Borgman. Looks interesting. I saw the trailer. Looked really well made. Looked cool. And we have Aftermath, which this one was sent to me to review by Image. And yeah, it's not a bad flick. It's more of like a drama about the end of the world and these people stuck in a cellar, and you know, they kind of bond together over time, and they have to have one big giant conflict with the group of outsiders who are very violent. I enjoy the movie. It's a good drama. It has a good build up to the very end, establishing its characters before knocking them down, which always causes a great dramatic effect. Edward Furlong's in it. I liked it. I enjoyed it. Some people might think it's a little slow or not, or dislike the CGI, but I think it's a cool film. I enjoyed it. The Legend of Billie Jean. I'd never seen this movie, 80s classic, cult movie, so I grabbed it and picked it up. You know, I love 80s cult movies. I love 80s movies most of the time. So I picked it up. It's on Blu-ray. It was very cheap. Mill Creek released it. We have Curtains, which I hadn't seen in years. I saw it on that crap multi-release, but it says John Vernon in it. John Vernon, I'm mispronouncing his name, from Animal House and Killer Clowns from Outer Space, and I'm Gonna Get You Sucker, and The Outlaw Josie Wales. Tons of movies, another awesome actor. But we have Curtains, which I remember being a pretty solid slasher film, but on that release I really couldn't see much, if you know what I mean. Pitch black. But yeah, this is a Synapse release. I love Synapse as well, releasing a couple cool films. And Prom Night from Synapse I picked up, and I must admit, I've never been a big fan of Prom Night. Never been a huge fan of it. I always thought it was kind of, you know, muddled and boring and tame and overrated. I know I'm being really harsh there, but I just never could get into it. I think that it was probably popularity due to its cast and maybe the timing, but I just, if I bought the Synapse release because this is my final hurrah for it. I mean, if Synapse Blu-ray can't make me like it, then probably nothing will make me like Prom Night. I do like Prom Night 2, Hello Mary Lou, which is like a cross between Nightmare on Elm Street and Carrie or something like that, with also Michael Ironside. But yeah, so I figured I'd give this another spin. Leslie Nielsen, Jamie Lee Curtis, classic slasher film that maybe I'm just mistaken on, because everyone else seems to love it. You know, when everyone loves something and you hate it, you gotta at least kind of maybe give it another shot. But All Cheerleaders Die, I put this in the first 15 minutes, I was like, oh my god, man, I could not get into that movie. I heard it gets better, the trailer looks better, like things pick up, but the first 15 minutes or so were just awful. Absolutely awful. I turned it off. My buddy Jorgen sent me this. Thank you a lot, Jorgen, one of my best friends on the internet. But actually just one of my really good friends from Sweden. He used to do an independent blog. It's kind of on a hiatus right now, but he sent me this because he's a really great guy. Seed 2, The New Breed. I've seen parts of Seed 1, but I heard this one, the Seed one's has some pretty brutal moments. It's by everybody's favorite director to hate, Uwe Boll. But this one I don't think is Boll. This is Marcel Walz, who has done you know, Avant-Garde, which I wasn't a huge fan of, but he's done other movies that are much more popular. And I need to rewatch Seed before I watch this one, to be honest. But that's import Blu-ray, so it probably won't play it on everybody's system. You need a region free. Blue Ruin by the guys who did Murder Party. I was an absolute huge fan of Murder Party. Honestly, Murder Party is probably my favorite movie that came out that year. I absolutely adore Murder Party. I think it's one of the best black comedies, or just comedies and horror movies. I just love it. It takes place during Halloween, costumes, so many puns. Really, really big fan of that movie. I can't stress enough. So I was waiting for this director, Jeremy Slaughter, to make another movie, or Slaughter, and I was waiting and waiting and waiting, and finally this came out, and I must say it's a very, very good crime thriller horror film about revenge and just escalating problems between families. Updated Hatfield to McCoy maybe, but yeah, Blue Ruin's a really great film, really well-made movie, and it's cool that he did something completely different from Murder Party. So he's not just a one-trick pony. This director has a lot of talent, and I really want to see what he does next. Both great films. Really like what he's doing. Graduation Day from Vinegar Syndrome. I haven't seen this movie since I watched the Trauma DVD back when it came out, probably like 10 years ago. But you know, it always came off to me like it was like that's you know, a subpar slasher with a couple moments that stick out. So I never hated it, never loved it. Just one that I definitely want to revisit. I kind of like to collect slasher movies, of course, too. I love slashers. I love zombies. I love cannibal movies. I love all the typical crap that horror fans love. So yeah, and I figured, why not grab it? See, I mean, the Trauma release isn't very good, so Then we have Only Lovers Left Alive, which is a Jim Jarmusch movie, and it's about vampires, so that's interesting enough for me to want to see it. Jim Jarmusch did Dead Man, which is a really cool movie, Ghost Dog, Way of the Samurai, which is a really cool movie. Those are the two I'm familiar with. I'm sure he's done others. I know he's done others, but those are the two I've seen and have enjoyed, so I figured I'd check this one out. I mean, I like I'm not monster, but I like horror films. I like the director. Yeah, I'm going to go for it. We have The Sacrament. You know, I don't know how I'm going to feel about this. I liked House of the Devil a lot. I like Cabin Fever 2 a lot. But I'm not a huge fan of Ty West's ABC's of Death segment. I thought it was the worst thing ever. I thought it was probably... I could go on days about how much I hated that segment. And the segment as well in VHS, I thought was trash. I thought it was garbage. But I don't know. I really think he phoned those in. I really don't think he tried on those segments. But I did really like House of the Devil, and I had a lot of positive feelings towards Cabin Fever 2. I know a lot of people hate that movie. He even hates that movie. The editing's crap. We know this. But it's goofy, stupid, gross fun. I like it. So I figured I'd take I figured I'd pick this one up and give it a spin. What's the worst gonna happen? I just like it. Willow Creek by Bobcat. You know, he directed that movie God Bless America, which I thought had its high and low points. I thought great, really fun concept. A fun concept. I guess I shouldn't say that's a fun concept, going cross-country, killing annoying people. But I thought it started out great and lost its steam towards the end. I thought there was a lot of potential in there. Willow Creek, I believe, is about some Bigfoot hunters who may actually run into Bigfoot. I don't know what it is, but I'm interested in seeing it, and I thought enough of God Bless America to check that one out. Let's hop into the DVDs. I'm really long-winded today. I need to shut my mouth. This is just a screener I got from the guy who directed Legend of the Hillbilly Butcher, which just came out on DVD, or is coming out recently, coming out shortly. This is called Hole. Pretty interesting movie. I had to watch that one a couple times to grasp it. There's a review for it. Really odd movie, like I said. This is from a Massacre Video, Mondo Magic. I said Mondo Vision, which is actually a company earlier about waiting for the VHS, but I meant Mondo Magic, which is a Mondo movie. This is the first time it's been fully uncut, I believe. I've not watched this yet, but the only Mondo movies I believe I've seen are Mondo County, which I enjoyed quite a bit. I never had the guts. I have them to put in Goodbye Uncle Tom or Africa Adios or all those other ones that I have. But yeah, so I'm apprehensively looking forward to watching that movie. Then we have My Fair Zombie, which is Camp Motion Pictures. I have not watched it, don't know much about it. Looked interesting enough. We have Proxy, which the trailer looked really cool on this one. IFC, picked that up. White-Faced Man, which is a 50-minute movie I reviewed. The director was nice enough to send me a copy. It had its moments, you know, for a first-time debut. I thought it was kind of cool. I liked the twist at the end, but, you know, I mean, I think that they should have had more of like a dreamlike atmosphere to it or something like that. But I don't want to give too much away. I like the twist. Silent Retreat, which is by the guys who are at Black Fawn. Man, that light is bringing a majorly bad glare, but I guess you guys will survive if you made it this far. But Silent Retreat, Black Fawn released a bunch of movies, but their last two, In the House of Flies and Disco Path, I really enjoyed. This one I thought was alright. It's about a bunch of girls being who are, you know, trouble. They get sentenced to go to this you know, kind of re-education camp where this guy wants them to be completely silent. You find out he's morphing them to be perfect little wives, but there's some other reason why they have to be silent. There's something in the woods. I'm not going to give too much away. It's the mix of two genres that we've seen a bunch of times, and they do it decently, but I just think that there was something lacking. I just wish the characters would have been a little bit more in depth, and I wish the guy who played the head baddie would have been a more recognizable actor. Like, I mean, Herbert Lom or like Anthony Zerbe or somebody like that would have killed it in this movie. It's just that, I mean, a lot of those actors are dead or gone, or somebody like Oliver Reed would have done a great job, but I don't know, seeing like he was okay. I just think that he needed more presence. Maybe that's not his fault. He wasn't absolutely horrible. He looked the part. I just think he needed a little bit more. The Last Horror Movie, which was a UK horror flick, and it's kind of like August Underground, about the exploits of a serial killer running a videotape, and what he does is he records his exploits over it and kind of presents it to the public and wants their opinion and things like that. The killer is egotistical maniac, and he does a good job. I enjoy the flick, and I think it has some scary moments, and I think it is kind of a cool movie. I think it's a little, you know, August Underground was there first, and you know that will forever be in film history, but I think The Last Horror Movie is a pretty cool kind of continuation of that story in some ways. Blood Glacier. I watched this. I think just today I finished it up. But yeah, this is pretty much an Austrian or German ripoff of The Thing. But it has a little bit of different reasoning behind it. I watched it in English. I watched it dubbed, which I probably shouldn't have done, but I was like, I'm just going to watch it dubbed. Even though you can watch it in Germany, I probably lost some of its integrity by watching it dubbed. But, you know, I've been a big fan of Italian horror films, and I love them dubbed for some reason. It's just a way. Not all films, but sometimes I'll watch a movie dubbed when it probably is preferably better in its native language or native tongue. But Blood Glacier essentially follows this group of scientists and a technician, and they find this glacier, and it's bleeding some sort of, it has like red, and it's bleeding, and it basically creates these very strange creatures that are essentially its genetic makeup. Let's say you're a fox and the fox eats a bug, in its stomach will mix up and create some weird giant bug fox. All these genetic makeups start happening and weird things like that. Like, it's a Thing ripoff, but it has these weird reasons for creating the monster. It's a really cool concept and everything like that. But the movie has cool creature effects when they're practical, very cool. Great concept. I just didn't give a crap about the characters, and I thought it picked up its pace too late. I think that this movie had endless potential to be an amazingly fun homage to The Thing, but it kind of failed with you know, trying the character trying to be too much like MacReady. But it could have been amazing. It could have been like an 8 out of 10, but I think it just falls somewhere in the middle. I mean, great atmosphere, great location, great monsters, but it had endless potential, and it didn't really deliver, which it did somewhat, but it just left me wanting more, but it didn't give me anything I 100% wanted. So it was like, I mean, it's good for a television show to want you to have more, but when that movie's probably not going to continue its story, even though it opens up the floodgates and it doesn't do anything with it. It does, but it doesn't. Beneath Still Waters, picked this up pretty cheap, $1 or something like that, not very expensive. Dysmorphia, which I got to review, and I reviewed it. It's like a horror anthology in the sense of VHS. It's from Wild Eye. If you want to check out the review, I wasn't a huge fan of it. There's a couple shorts in there I enjoy. Some of them they're all over the place in quality. The one that I think is the best made is the one with the wife and husband, and the wife keeps trying to impress and give her husband a unique gift, and they're all horrible things that he said when he was angry. And that one's cool, and I do kind of like the story about the digital creature coming out of the computer. But all in all, some of them are really bad and unwatchable, and it's just the difference in quality and things like that. But if you want to check it out, then go right ahead. My review will probably give you more info. I just can't give it a thumbs up. Code Red, which is not to be confused with the company, but is like, I think it's a Eastern Europe horror film. It might be even Russian. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe it's like a zombie outbreak type deal. Zero Killed, which I have not seen, but this director is being paired up with Jörg Bucharest, and I think another director, and they're making like an anthology about you know, German horror directors. So this director did this movie, so I picked it up. I've not seen it. It's from Cult Epics, which is a pretty good company. I think Cult Epics is releasing Necromantic on Blu-ray, which I will be sure to pick up. And this I bought because it has Body Snatchers in it by Abel Ferreira, and it has Wolfen in it. I already have Bad Moon and Coma. I never watched Coma. I always enjoyed Bad Moon ever since I seen it as a kid. But Wolfen I never was a big fan of. I thought even like an 8-year-old I saw it and tried to watch it later at like 12 and stuff. I just always fell asleep. I was just like, oh my god, I can't get through this movie ever. But Body Snatchers, I like Abel Ferreira. I like Body Snatchers, so why not give it a spin? Dustin told me it's really cool. I love King of New York. I love Bad Lieutenant. I love Miss 45. I mean, so why not? And I love the 50s Body Snatcher. I love the 70s Body Snatcher. So why not give the 90s one a good chance? A chance, I should say. These next movies are from Jorgen as well, and this is the next German splatter package he sent me, which is awesome. I'm very appreciative again, but I'm not even able to pronounce this word, so I won't. Blutnotch 2. No nudity on the back. This one looks like a pretty low-rent German splatter film. I might actually have a copy of Zombie Warrior, but this is a Legend of Hell Uncut Edition by Olaf Idenbach, one of the best gore directors ever. We have Timo Rose's Beast. I believe this is an American release, but it's very hard to get from my impression. But You know, I have not watched the Timo Ross movie, or Rose movie. It's Rose, I believe. Yeah. Then we have, what do we got here? Space Wolf, another Rose movie with effects by Olaf Idenbach. It's really awesome to get these movies because a lot of them are pretty much just unfindable at this point. We have a hard box of Graveyard of the Living Dead, which is a really cool cover art here. It's kind of like EC Comic or something like that. I enjoy it. Then we have, not even gonna try. Another hard box. 301 of 666. Love when they do stuff like that. It's like so cheesy. And then we have the Violent Shit box set. I remember when I was about 13 years old, I had these on a bootleg. And I tried to watch the first one, and I got about 20 minutes into it, and I was like, this is atrocious. So I never ever watched it. I did watch half of Zombie Doom as well, and was like, this is even more atrocious. So I never finished them. I never had finished a movie by this director, which I'm not going to be able to say his name, so I'm not going to try. But yeah, this is the Violent Shit box set, which Synapse is supposed to be releasing, but it's been a long, long time. It comes with 1, 2, and 3. And he also sent Carl the Butcher vs. Axe Violent Shit 4.0. So I could have like a Violent Shit marathon and then promptly kill myself right afterwards. But I'm just kidding. Well, anyways, they're just really low-budget German splatter movies that, you know, I probably didn't have the appreciation for at my age when I first saw them. I was like 13. Give me a break. But you guys get the point. Then what do we got in here? Some more DVDs. We have Found, which is the new release of Found, which I really enjoyed. This movie is by Scott Schwermer. It's based off a book. There's 2 reviews of this for it, the original edition and this edition. Yeah, I'd say check this one out, and look out for Headless coming out. Yeah, but that's from Macabre, which is a company that's releasing lots of cool things. Sono Profano got this to review. It is a Giallo, old school style Giallo from Brink, and the thing about that is it's all point of view, and it's all point of view of the killer. It's like an hour long, so it doesn't wear out its welcome too bad. It does kind of start to wear out its welcome, its point of view, but it unfolds a story. It's definitely more style than substance, and the blood is bright pink, like that bright pink paint from like 1968 to like 1975 for those Giallos. Cabin Fever Patient Zero. You know, I'm a fan of the first Cabin Fever. I'm a fan of the second Cabin Fever. And I didn't hate the third Cabin Fever. They're all completely different. They don't belong in the same trilogy of movies. That essentially follows like almost 2 different movies going down and they merge at the end. It's fairly serious, but it has these over-the-top moments of gore that make it a little silly. I kind of liked it. You know, it's cool to see Sean Astin in it, but you know, a lot of people won't enjoy it. I don't hate it. I enjoyed it. So we have Banshee Chapter, which I got very cheap. It's like $1.50 at Family Video. And The Conspiracy, which is also like $1.50 at Family Video. Both macabre. I figured I'd check them out. What else do we have? Hellbenders, which has Clancy Brown and Clifton Collins Jr. in it. Very cheap again, $1.50 at Family Video. Why not give it a spin? This one I actually already had and I messed up. I guess I didn't know. But it was only $1.50. It's Hell Baby. It's supposed to be kind of like a comedy horror movie. It's got a bunch of funny people on the cover. Some people that I find funny. Dead Weight, which is also, I actually have the old edition, which is very cool. I reviewed this movie. I got it at Wasteland. It's like a double disc I have with a cartoon drawn picture. This cover, I don't think it does the movie a complete justice, but it's not. It's kind of a cool zombie movie. It doesn't really involve zombies all that much. Just kind of you know, human beings fighting with each other. But I enjoy it. It's a good movie. There's a review for it somewhere that I did. Big Ass Spider. This was worth $1.50 for me to give it a spin. Heard good, bad, everything in the middle. Things. Ooh, Snuff It. I don't know if I could show the back of this, but this is Dustin Mills' new movie. This is Sleazy Green Edition. But I did a review for this movie. A very bizarre, very different, very one-of-a-kind movie by Dustin Mills, as he does so often. But yeah, give that a watch if you like really weird movies. It's a movie about a guy, puppets and humans coexist, and he basically is like a Hitler going around wanting to wipe puppets off the face of the earth. But it's a cool movie. We have Septic Man, which I got a screener review. I bought it by the guy who did Monster Brawl. And you know, I hear Monster Brawl is terrible from everyone that's seen it. Everybody, all kinds of people from all kinds of walks of life do not like Monster Brawl. I haven't, didn't watch it because of that. But this one I didn't think was all that bad. It's about this epidemic that happens in the sewer systems and it's affecting his town. They send a super plumber in there to take care of it. Of course, he gets infected. He's stranded down there, and he finds out why it's happening. And he bumps into these killers down there, tries to fight them. Becomes sort of low rent superhero type deal by the end. But It has cool special effects. It doesn't. It just breaks the surface of what is to come and doesn't give you everything it wants. It doesn't give you all the payoff. It could have done a lot more, but it does enough for me to enjoy it. And I like the ending. I don't hate it. Lots of people won't enjoy it. But Project of Evil, this is a weird movie. This basically follows, it's all these stories told by Poe stories told by Italian directors. It's very sexual, very violent. There at least is going to be some imagery in there that you guys will enjoy. I enjoyed it. It was nasty and it had its moments. Sometimes I lost what the hell was going on in them, and some of the Poe stories I hadn't read. I mean, but I had read the Telltale Heart, and I couldn't make ends meet what the hell that story was about in there. It didn't seem like it fit the Telltale Heart at all. But what do I know? Then we have Bad Chicken. Ooh, almost dropped Bad Chicken. That would not have been good. But this movie is really cool. Denver Johnson recommended this to me. Denver's one of the best guys to get recommendations for weird, cool movies. Great guy. He also runs a website, blog, Celluloids of Terror or something like that. There'll be a link below if you guys want to check it out. But yeah, he's one of the guys that I always ask about movies because he knows lots. But Bad Chicken is a weird movie where, of course, chickens, puppet chickens, and humans interact and they live in the world together. And this one, there's a crew of chickens that want to direct this reality TV show, and they're all really bad. And the main chicken's really bad, and he's just like, you know, manipulative, and he does all sorts of things in there to them, and he turns this couple against each other. Enjoyable, cool movie, and the song he sings in there will get stuck in your head all the time. He's just like, when I go away, I'm gonna be screaming and kicking because I'm a bad chicken. I like it. I'd say check it out. It's a pretty unique movie and very funny, very different. We have Varsity Blood, which I have not watched yet, but pick this up. What else we got here? Face, a Frat Party Massacre. Also another movie I picked up and haven't watched. What else we got? I got this at a video store one day. Journey to the West. I was like, that looks weird. Actually, I saw this pig demon on the back of this pig guy, and I was like, dude, I gotta see that. It's not very good, but it's never stopped me in the past. You know, guys? I actually only got 2 copies of this. I guess I ordered this and didn't even remember about it, but I bought it at a video store. I'm getting old now. Dark Souls. I like the idea that they have like the blood, the dark, nasty black blood. I like that. You know, the movie The Ugly did that kind of in a style, but Dark Souls I have not seen, haven't heard anybody talk about it. Let me know if it's any good. We have Synapse Worm, which seemed like a really unique, different movie. Pick that up. Synapse. And then we have Die Delta Pi, which I reviewed this movie, and they're selling copies of it, and I thought, you know what? I didn't love that movie. I didn't hate that movie. I liked that movie. Good enough to own, though. And Marcus Cook does his special effects, and when he does your special effects, when he does good special effects, I mean, when he actually does a lot of special effects in the movie, they're awesome. I mean, just take 100 Tears for example. The special effects in that movie are awesome. Sweatshop, which I really enjoy, the special effects in that movie are awesome. Yeah, but Marcus is one of the best in the business. We have a Frog. This movie looks so goofy, I had to kind of have it. I don't know. I just saw the trailer for it, and I was like, yeah, I like aquatic creature men coming on Earth. Humanoid from the deep, creature from the Black Lagoon, even, what is that one? Hillbilly, a creature from Hillbilly Lagoon. I just like aquatic creatures. Crossbearer from Toe Tag. Pretty cool movie. Finally, people wanted to see this again. I mean, I have the original release, but, you know, I had to grab the 2-disc Toe Tag. Or it's not 2-disc, it's 1-disc. There is a 2-disc coming out, I believe. But, yeah, this is a bunch of features on it as well. Then we have Reflection of Evil, which is supposed to be a really weird movie. It's completely dubbed over. I started watching this. Man, it is a weird freaking movie, and I did not get through all of it. Doesn't mean it's bad. It just means that I was not in the right state of mind to watch that movie. But thank you very much for watching my long-winded ass talk about the movies I recently purchased. But you guys have a good one, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it. If you didn't, I don't think you make it this far. Bye.